talking about, you got to go buy this book today. It's amazing. Go get it. And so then they go over and click, but they buy the book. On their time, not my time. Holy cow, I was tired. A lot of this stuff happened after 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I probably went to bed about 2 in the morning that night thinking, okay, I think, there's a lot of excitement in there, but I think I got enough, right? I got enough screenshots of number 1. I can go to sleep now, and I've hit international. That's what we were after. So that was really, really cool. The other thing that you'll notice here, and these are a lot of the different categories. Here's work-life balance, beating out James Lohr with The Powerful Engagement. Anyone read that book? Anyone? That's a great book. Go grab that book. It's a very, very powerful book. You look at inside self-help, Esther Hicks, Law of Attraction, Deepak Chopra. Yeah. Here it is. There's other categories. Most gifted. People were buying the book to give to people. That's pretty cool. I like that. Richard Branson. I love this guy. I'm happy to be sandwiched in between his Kindle version and his paper version. Screw it, just do it. Anyone read that one? It's a short book, very fast, very fun.
What's the name of it?
Screw it, let's do it. Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson. Now he and I may collaborate on a book, and if we do, we'll call it Screw It, Act Now. Love it. This is a friend of mine, Anil Gupta, in another category, family health in this case. Immediate Happiness is the name of his book. And at that time, though, he was the top rated, which means, you can go in and rate, 5-star or put a comment and all that stuff. Well, he was the top rated in this category, so he beat me on that one. I'll give it to him. But that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the number 1. Mind Gym. Anyone familiar with Mind Gym? These are exercises for your brain, to keep your brain young. This is a pretty good book to look at, especially if you're doing team building and teamwork in your businesses. All right, Jack Canfield. Who knows who Jack Canfield is? Success Principles, very important book to put on your bookshelf and put in your brain. The Success Principles, about this fat, 64 principles that Jack basically wanted to write a timeless classic about success. And that's why he wrote this book. And it really represents years and years and years of what he does. And Jack is a tremendous supporter of mine and friend, and he wrote the foreword. And the power of asking is one of those principles. And the power of saying, hey Jack, would you be willing to support my book launch on October 1st? So this is his blog, October 1st. And what's really amazing here is this is the perfect tool to implement the success principles. And the blog post is amazing, and it's super supportive. And this went out on the same day that I'm trying to get up the charts. So this is, marketing secret. Go get someone who knows everybody and ask them to support you. And if they say yes, it's easier, right? That's pretty cool. So it is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely possible that you can achieve your goals. In fact, you can do that in 90 days. And that's what this is. This is about how to get there in 90 days. But here's the problem, and we run into this. We are boom, 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 everywhere at the same time, right? Raise your hand if that's you. Half the room, maybe more than half. Yes, so we're not exactly clear with what we want because we want everything at the same time. I'm guilty of this. I want it all now. And in fact, I'm going to work on that and this and that and this and this all at the same time. Uh-oh. A little scattered, right? A little dangerous to be scattered. Or we fall into this trap where, we don't think we have enough time. Right? Time traps. Oops. A friend of mine, Walt Hampton, has just written a book. Jeanette, do you remember the name of it? It's just coming out now. And it's about time. And it's about the fact that it's not about time management. We all have the same amount of time. It's what we do with the time. We have the same amount of time as the people you read about in Fast Company and Forbes and People, you name it. These people have the same amount of time as we do. They just use it differently. Okay, we have to be judicious about how we use the time. By the way, I think to come into a network meeting like this is a really good use of your time. So I applaud you for doing that. And all the other members who aren't here, go give them a kick in the rear end because they missed it. What else? Sometimes we don't know the right way or the best way to actually set goals. Because there is a right way and a wrong way, and many of us don't know that. Many of us don't even set goals in the first place. Only 1/3 of you raised your hand when I asked about who's got a really cool goal. I want to see 100% of the hands go up. And there's this power of simple daily actions that can get you through. Most of us don't realize how powerful that is. And here's what happens instead. We feel trapped. We feel overwhelmed. We get frustrated. We want to give up. Or we want to bust through it. Right? So we're going to just keep trying harder and harder and harder. Who's guilty of that? So this is you. Bam! Hit that brick wall. That might be your head instead of a hammer, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go harder, go harder, go harder. The problem with brute force to hit your goals or your business's goals or your team all working harder, harder, harder to get over some threshold is it's not a sustainable way to do it. Because as soon as you catch your breath, you're going backwards, right? What good is that? You better to get systems in place. So here's what I know. I know that when you can take your big goals and chunk them down into smaller pieces, 90 days at a chunk, you can make some serious progress. It's not as overwhelming. We know how to do this without brute force. We can take the brute force out of the equation. And we can put in place these different action strategies that can get us there in a way that seems almost effortless, at least fun. You ever talk to entrepreneurs, and maybe you're one of them or sitting next to one of them, who they used to work their tail off in the corporate job they had, and then they went out and started their own thing, and they're working as hard, if not harder, from an amount of time and effort and whatnot, but you talk to them and they love it, right? I saw a Facebook post, people put the pictures with words on Facebook, and it said something to the effect of an entrepreneur is someone who's willing to work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week. Right? So it is totally possible. We want to cross out the M and the impossible. Totally possible, but you got to know what to do. Now here's some interesting stats. How many of you at the beginning of the year set some sort of a New Year's resolution? You know that only 8% of New Year's resolutions are ever come true, ever at all? And only 64% of people who set New Year's resolutions still have them at the end of January. What's up with that? There's a website called daysoftheweek.com. January 17th, I believe, is the date. Every day of the year. Yeah, that's what it is, dayoftheyear.com. Anyways, Google it, you'll find it. Even if I got it a little bit wrong. I'm close. And they name every day of the year. We know what Mother's Day is, right? We just had Mother's Day. But every day of the year has one. January 17th or 18th, one of those days in there, in that rough time frame, is ditch your New Year's resolution day. Because people don't take them seriously. And they don't know how to take them seriously. They don't know what to do. The basic mechanics of daily action is a big piece of this. So in order to take those dreams that you wrote down and turn them into reality, there's a simple process. Who wants to know what it is? Let's get started. And it starts with this, the 5 C's of goal achievement. So you can actually write down these 5 words in this space here on the left-hand side of your paper. Number 1 is cascade. And I'm going to talk about the details of what all this means in a minute. Number 1 is cascade. Number 2 is create. Number 3 is to commit. Number 4 is to confirm. And then the one that these two people at the top of the stairs, they're celebrating. Number 5 is celebrate. So here we go. Cascade. You guys all want dessert after seeing that picture, don't you? Just imagine that cookie that's there in front of you. Having come out of this, you get a chance to dip it in that chocolate cascade, right? You ever been to a chocolate cascade? Oh, I would put liver in a chocolate cascade, right? Because it's that good. Liver's not, the chocolate is. So we're going to start with cascading whatever the long-term thing is for you down into 90 days at a time. Because 90 days is long enough to have some impact, but it's also short enough that you can stay relatively focused on what it is you've chosen to focus on for 90 days. How many weeks is that? Here come the calculators, right?
13.
13. It's 12.85 weeks. So 13. It's basically 13 weeks. It's not very long. You could stay on something for 13 weeks, right? Now, how many of you have ever heard of SMART goals? SMART goals. So, because many of you have, tell me what SMART stands for.
Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound.
There we go. Yay! Round of applause. And there's slight variations. I just heard action-oriented versus achievable, and they're very, very close. But the basic idea of SMART is you've got to make sure that this goal is something that you can personalize and own, that it is something you can measure. In fact, measure to the point that someone else can come observe and see whether or not I did it on the date I said I was going to have it done by. Okay, that's one of the problems with the New Year's resolutions.